think we're good.
I think we're good.
I think we're good.
It's good.
What were we talking? Oh, hang on. What are we doing even?
We're gonna talk about making it your own thing, not comparing yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll introduce ourselves. We'll do that again. Welcome to Down and Derby Talk. I'm Ninja Bean.
And I'm Eleanor Bruisavelt.
And in today's episode, we're going to talk about the thing she just explained, and you can explain it maybe better this time.
So I did our fresh meat training last year. Mm-hmm. I was head of fresh meat training, and one of the things that I've discovered as a player is that it gets really easy to compare yourself to other players. So we're going to talk about that and what you should not do in those situations.
Yes, it's very difficult when you get going and you're new, and then eventually I think it gets worse as you kind of go, because you get to a point where you're not new anymore, and you feel like maybe you should be doing better than you are. Yeah. But Derby everyone's got their own sort of Derby story.
Yes.
So everyone kind of does things at their own pace.
Yeah, and everybody starts Derby at a different level of athleticism, right? So girls that have figure skated and have done that kind of stuff and have those kind of balances. But then there's other people who have done no sports.
Yeah, coming in fresh, don't even work out.
Yeah, don't even work out. So they're, they have no muscle tone, no nothing, no muscle memory, right? And then you see these people get better and better, but I feel like a lot of people get down on themselves when they're not seeing their progression. We're pretty lucky because you started videotaping us when we were pretty fresh.
Videos of everyone starting, and it's amazing to see the differences between then and now. I think we should actually bring that back, at least with a GoPro, just because it's great for, I think, new players. So that's like a thing you can do, is video your players.
Yeah, when they're new.
When they're new, and just continue on throughout the year, just to show, just so people know there's progress being made, especially like not even just as far as skills go, but body shapes change. Like we saw a lot of people's their physique evolved over time quite a bit. Like shorts I had last year didn't fit. They fit this year because I have a butt now. So that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. And shorts that I had last year that didn't fit now fit because I am less here now.
Derby's great.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, because like you were saying, we have a lot of players that come in. Derby, for some reason, is like this weird sort of sport that attracts people that have never played sports or never had an interest in sport. You're like, I'm just going to do this thing.
Yeah, I just want to hit people.
Because I played rugby in high school.
Yeah.
And I've always been a runner. And I played sports in like elementary school, but that's it. Like I never went out of my way to play hockey or anything.
Yeah, and see, I played all the sort of, not necessarily non-physical sports, but I played baseball and soccer and basketball and volleyball and all of those sort of team sports, and never got a chance to play full contact. My best friend growing up was a guy, and he has 4 younger brothers, and we used to play football all the time, but they're not going to hit me that hard because I'm the delicate little flower. Not so much.
Not anymore.
When you start Derby, your Derby journey is your Derby journey. And yes, you can aspire to be like somebody.
You have to have goals.
You have to have goals.
Goals are important. That's how it keeps you kind of moving forward.
Yeah. But the other part of that is comparing yourself to other players on your team. So, Thud on our team, incredible skater, because she does road skating and trick skating and stuff like that. And she came to us already doing that. She passed her minimals in 3 practices, not weeks. Like 3 practices, 6 hours, and she had passed all of her minimals. I've never seen anyone pass all the minimals like that. I'm not going to compare myself to her because it took me 3 months to pass those minimals, right? And then there's some girls that have taken a year to pass their minimals.
Like I, not so much like on our team, but especially like I'm part of a lot of Facebook groups, and see a lot of people getting really down in the dumps because it's taken them over a year. Yeah. But I mean, like it's a tough sport. It's not not to make other sports sound.
It's tough.
It's tough. Like soccer, you run down a field and you kick a ball.
Yeah,
like,
that's
pretty
cardio,
straightforward.
Right? Like it's very cardio based, right? This is strength, cardio, balance, like crazy
Not to mention the mental,
That's a huge mental game.
Oh no, never mind. I was like, I stopped because I couldn't see the record thing on. I was like, did I press it when you were talking? I just had like a full panic attack. But the red light's on, so it's fine.
It's fine.
Anyway,
we're professionals.
Going back to what we were talking. you know, for me, when I started, it didn't, like, I had never skated, but I picked it up pretty quick, I feel. And then I passed minimals in a few months. Most of the people on our team have done pretty well. I think we do get, for me, I get disgruntled some practices.
Yeah, for sure.
And it, you know, especially like we were talking about in the last video, this year, we haven't won a game yet. And it's been it can be a little tough.
So I think going forward, you know, for myself especially, is to, you know, to not compare, but to aspire to be like players that I admire.
I have a question for you. Has there been a day where you were like super discouraged, and what did you do to get through it? Like, I know there's some days I just don't want to go to practice.
Yeah. Of course, many days. And sometimes it's to do with derby, and sometimes it's to just do with the rest of my life, and I just don't feel like I have the energy to put anything else anywhere.
Yeah.
And then my husband's, I love him. He's so great. And he's always like, just go. You always have a good time when you go. Like, just go and skate around. Just put your skates on. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
And for me, it's skating through it, right? And getting to that place where, okay, it's really not so bad. Or, you know, taking those little steps, like we were talking about jumping the apex, or just jumping higher, right? Yeah. One of my goals was to be able to jump a foot off the ground. I can do it. I did it. 6 months ago, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, there's things like, even in the last few months, just because we played so many games one after another, because I played the other weekend with the whole other team and learned a lot just in that. Just about, especially mindset, because when I went to that game, I wasn't thinking about winning or losing. I was thinking about just playing my best. Like, I wanted to do the best I could for this team. Whether we won or lost wasn't important. Yeah. And then I played a different game that day. Like, I felt like I was having fun. I wasn't really looking at the score. And I think I have to keep that mindset going forward. And that's a really good way to not get discouraged about the score, I feel. Yeah.
I got a book from my husband for Christmas, not this past Christmas, the Christmas before, about it's called Mental Toughness in Roller Derby. I got this book, and it's really good. It talks about sort of processing how your game is, you know, sitting after a jam, not focusing on all the bad things, but focusing on the things that was done right, whether it was yourself or your teammates or, you know, whatever, or the other team, like appreciating what the other team has done.
Yeah, instead of getting like, some people get really mad when they're
I don't like that.
They get mad at the other team, and they're pissed off at the other team because the other team's playing really well. And like, that doesn't do anything for anybody. That just makes your game sloppy, because now you're just angry.
Yeah.
And, you know, but I think a lot of people go with the mindset that play angry and you'll play better. And I don't agree with that.
No,
I don't.
Play well. Play properly, and play your best game.
Yes.
Because your best game is the best that you're going to do. And if you're not playing your best game, that's when you can get upset with yourself, right? Like, if you know that you're inside your head, just get out of your head.
When I went into started derby, I didn't realize that was a thing, and then I realized that your mental state is very important to a physical sport. Yeah, because I think for a long time I just thought sports were like, I play sports. Yeah, you know, like, I didn't think there was like a mental aspect that's more to it than just
sports.
Just sports than just brawn. Like, there's a whole mental side to physical exertion, like to push yourself to that next level.
Yeah, and also with derby, there is there's such a strategy, and there's strategy in every sport, but with derby, I find it's such an intricate strategy, because you're playing offense and defense at the same time.
There's so many rules. And people get mad at that. I've heard people get a little bit upset about, like, you know, they see the sport like, oh, how do you even play with all those rules? I'm like, well, I think the rules really help make the sport super, like, it's fun to be strategic. Like, that's part of the fun.
And it's kind of fun to try and get around the rules.
Yeah, because a lot of times it's just about finding a loophole.
So, to have the mental game physically, but then also have the mental game for the strategy at the same time. It's hard.
It is hard.
It's taken, like, this is like we said in the last video, this is our third season. It's taken me till this season to really understand what that means.
I agree.
Don't just let the team get in front of you. Don't just, you know, try and keep somebody back. Or, you know, if your jammer gets through, get your butt up to the front. Don't, you know, or if their jammer gets through, get your butt up to the front. Don't just watch it happen.
Yeah. Because sometimes you get that mental block, like, almost like you freeze on
I've given
the
up.
track.
Yeah. And if you haven't played yet, I will tell you one of the most crazy experiences is your very first game.
It is intense.
It's like you literally feel like you're standing still and everybody else is going
It's true.
and you have no idea what's going on and you're thinking in your head, I'm just a pylon. That's all I am.
I think I'm in over my head. How did I
made a mistake.
And then like once the shuffle's done, you've moved from one place to the other, but you have no memory of how you got there. You're just like, well, I'm here now.
I might have a bruise.
Well, that's what derby is. I'll walk away and be like, how'd you get that bruise? I'm like, playing derby. Like, but how? I'm like,
nope.
Your guess is as good as mine. I fell. Fell at some point.
Somebody hit me with their shoulder. I don't know. What about you? What are some mental blocks that you've come up against? Like real, I'm not going.
There's been days I've had colds.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, I do not want to go.
I know.
And then you get to practice, you skate with a cold, and then you feel 10 times better.
Oh yeah, you sweat it all out.
Yeah, and I think it helps.
Yeah, my husband's a big believer in that. Like when he's sick, he'll sweat it all out. Like he wraps himself up like a cocoon in a blanket.
And he goes and plays hockey.
And then, or he goes and plays hockey, like when he's sick, and he always feels better the next day. And like, it's magic.
Mm-hmm. But there's a whole other video about self health.
Yes.
That we could talk about.
Yes,
about not overdoing it.
We'll
talk about
yeah,
that.
not overdoing it. But yeah, so I guess, I mean, the main point here would be your derby journey is just that. It's your derby journey. And compare yourself to who you were.
Yeah.
Even last practice, even an hour ago. Compare yourself to that. Because the more you practice makes perfect, right? We've all heard that saying.
Yeah.
Right? And the more you practice, the better you're going to be. And even, you know, all of the WIFTA certified players, all the Team Canada, Team USA, Australia, you know, all of those big teams, they don't just stop practicing when they make Team Canada. They practice all the time,
and a lot
they
of
get
cross
better.
training.
Yes,
that's another
all
thing.
the cross
That's
training.
A whole another video again about cross training and how important that is. And don't give up. You know, like sometimes there's gonna be shitty days where you're not gonna want to go or do anything. You're gonna get to bouts. You're gonna get to halftime and just be like, that was awful. That I've had like horrible
I sucked today.
half times. Like the first half was horrible, and then you kind of just like breathe.
Yeah.
Take a moment, and then second half's way better. There's a lot of times like with our team even, we've had a horrible first half, sat down and like calmed our brains, and then had a wonderful second half.
Yep. And we were saying cross training, one of the things that we pride ourselves on as a league is the fact that we have really good stamina.
Yeah, we could skate for days. But anyway, I think that pretty much wraps up what I wanted to talk about.
And I guess in the comments below, if you just let us know if there's blocks that you've come up against or things that you've noticed, or you know, if this has helped you at all.
Yeah, or if you have any advice on things you do to overcome mental blocks, let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Could I come up with, like, I have to take a frame out of the video for a thumbnail.
Right.
So we should do a pose.
Okay.
What do you want to do?